The first text came on a Thursday afternoon, in the middle of a rainstorm. Saw the house is up for sale. Bittersweet. Hope you're doing okay. It was from Aaron, my childhood neighbor. A name I hadn't seen pop up in years. My heart stopped. The house? No. That had to be a mistake. I scrolled fast through my real estate app, fingers trembling. There it was. 164 Mayflower Drive. Listed. Photos taken last week. Open house scheduled for Saturday. As if we were already gone. I stared at the screen until it blurred. The place where I learned to ride a bike. Where Mom hung her wind chimes in the cherry tree out front. Where Dad used to carry me inside asleep from the car. Sold? No. They wouldn't. They couldn't. I dialed Rachel, my older sister, but she sent me straight to voicemail. Twice. Then came a family group text. A short, chirpy announcement. Hey everyone, just a quick update. We've decided to sell the Mayflower house. A great offer came in, and it's time. Big hugs and necks. Like it was nothing. Like it wasn't the house we were raised in. The house Mom left to both of us. I drove straight there that night. The porch light was still flickering, the way it always had. The gutter still sagged in the same spot above the front door. For a moment, it felt like time hadn't moved, like I could walk in, smell Sunday stew from the kitchen, and see Mom's slippers near the couch. But the front door was locked, and the new real estate sign planted in the lawn felt like a knife. I knocked. After a minute, Rachel opened the door. Barefoot, in yoga pants, holding a glass of red wine like nothing was wrong. Oh. Wow. I didn't know you were coming, she said. You listed the house without even telling me? She blinked. I thought I figured it was obvious. I've been here the last 4 years. You've got your apartment downtown. You haven't even been back for months. That doesn't mean it's not still mine too. She tilted her head like I was being dramatic. You know Mom meant for it to go to me. I've been the one keeping it up. You said you didn't want to live here. I said I needed space after she died. I didn't say sign my half over to you. Rachel waved a hand dismissively. The house needed too much work. The taxes were bleeding me dry. When the offer came in from the Hendricks family, it just made sense. It's going to a nice couple with kids. Isn't that what Mom would have wanted? She said it so softly, so reasonably. But all I heard was you were never going to be asked. I called Mr. Anwar the next morning, Mom's old estate attorney. I hadn't spoken to him since the funeral, but he remembered me immediately. I thought you might be calling, he said, voice low and careful. I saw the listing pop up last week. You knew. I wasn't sure what arrangement your sister made with you. But I can tell you, your name is still very much on that deed. Your mother made sure of it. I sat back in my chair, stunned. So she can't legally sell it? He hesitated. She can't sell the whole thing, not without your consent. Unless there's been some forgery I don't know about, you own 50%. My breath caught. That's when the anger really set in. Not just that they'd moved forward without me, but that they assumed I wouldn't fight back, that I'd stay quiet, that I'd roll over like I always had growing up. Rachel must have banked on me being the emotional one, the artist, the soft-spoken little sister who never caused waves, but she forgot something Mom never did. I remember everything. I pulled out the manila folder from my drawer that still had the funeral documents, the handwritten letter from Mom, and the notarized will. Page 3. The property at 164 Mayflower Drive shall be equally shared between my daughters, Rachel Louise Martin and Ava Marie Martin. I took a photo and saved it. Then I took another of the property deed Mr. Anwar emailed over. My name printed clearly in black ink. Rachel could gaslight the family all she wanted, but the paper didn't lie. And this time, neither would I. Saturday came fast. The morning was quiet, uncomfortably so. I hadn't slept much, my mind caught in an endless loop of Rachel's dismissive voice and the sound of rain against the windshield. That night I stood in front of the house, locked, out of my own past. By 9:01 a.m., the open house listing was live. By 9:30 a.m., I was parked 3 houses down. I watched as strangers strolled through the gate. Some were young couples. One woman held a baby in her arms. Another man in a fitted suit kept taking notes like this was all just another checkbox on his weekend to-do list. It made me sick. My childhood home was being auctioned off like it was already someone else's. A part of me wanted to storm in, scream, that it wasn't hers to sell, yank the sign out of the lawn and plant my name in the dirt. But Mom didn't raise me to make a mess. She raised me to make a point. So instead, I waited. At 10:45 a.m., Rachel stepped outside with the real estate agent, a tall blonde in sleek heels and a blazer that screamed no soul, just commission. They were laughing like they hadn't just blindsided me days earlier. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Rachel leaned in and said something about accepting early offers, something about cleaning out the last of the old stuff. I zoomed in, caught her pointing at Mom's antique bird cage, the one she swore she'd never touch because it made her too emotional. And now, it was inventory. By noon, I walked up the path like any other potential buyer. I kept my head down, sunglasses on. Rachel was inside, probably showing off the remodeled kitchen she didn't pay for. The agent greeted me with a bright voice. "Welcome. First time seeing the house?" "No," I said calmly. "I actually grew up here." Her smile flickered. I let myself into the living room, the worn wooden floors creaking beneath me just like they used to. The air smelled like new paint and scrubbed out memories. But the layout, that was still the same. My eyes caught the old fireplace mantel. Gone were Mom's framed poetry prints. In their place, staged vases and meaningless decor from Home Goods, erased. I turned a corner into what used to be my bedroom, now a fake nursery staged with soft blankets and a neutral palette. It didn't even feel like a home anymore. It felt like a lie. As I stepped out, I nearly collided with Rachel in the hallway. She froze. I didn't blink. "What are you doing?" "Here," she hissed, voice low, all that open house charm draining out of her face. "Just touring the house," I said, sweet as syrup. "You didn't invite me, remember?" She glanced at the agent across the room, then leaned in. "This isn't funny, Ava. You're going to ruin this." "You already did." She laughed under her breath. "No one cares about your little tantrum. The buyers are serious. I'm closing this week." I smiled. "That'll be hard to do, since you don't own the house." By Monday morning, the lawyer letters were sent. Rachel received hers via certified mail, hand-delivered. So did the real estate agent. So did the Hendricks couple, the buyers who'd made the offer. I kept it polite, professional, and legally airtight. As co-owner of the property known as 164 Mayflower Drive, I have not agreed to the sale nor given consent. Any transfer of title without my approval will be considered fraudulent, and will be pursued to the fullest extent of the law. The deed copy was attached. So was the clause from the will. Rachel called that night. Her voice was tight, thinner than I'd ever heard it. No more fake warmth. What the hell are you doing? Protecting what's mine. You're going to tank the whole deal. We'll lose the offer. We? I said. There is no we. You tried to steal from me, Rachel, and you did it thinking I'd be too soft to stop you. She was silent for a moment, then her voice cracked, somewhere between rage and panic. Do you have any idea how much I've put into that house? I repainted everything. I updated the wiring. I stayed when you ran off. You mean after Mom died? After you told me to take time that you'd handle things? That time? You don't need it like I do. You have your life in the city. I have a mortgage and no plan. I cut in. That's not my problem. Not anymore. I let the silence linger before I added, we can talk about buying me out. Or we can go to court. Your choice. That night, I took out the old box of photos from the closet, the one I rescued before Rachel's decluttering. I laid out the pictures from every birthday party, every holiday, every scraped knee on that porch. I took a deep breath. This was no longer just about ownership. It was about memory. It was about dignity. And it was about making sure that this time, she didn't win. 3 days passed. No texts, no calls, just silence, the kind that wasn't calm. It was calculating. I knew Rachel. She wouldn't just sit still. She'd be regrouping, re-strategizing, trying to find some legal shortcut to get me out of the way. So I made sure there weren't any. I met with Mr. Anwar again, this time in person. He was older than I remembered, glasses fogging slightly from the steam of his tea, but sharp as ever. You have the leverage, he told me. Don't let her pressure you. If she tries to force a partition sale, the court will likely side with the co-owner who actually has documentation and intent to retain their half. That's you. I nodded slowly. So what are my options? He smiled faintly. You could buy her out. Unlikely, given what she's asking. Or you wait. Wait. For what? For her to run out of money. Rachel had poured thousands into those renovations, all of it on credit. I found out through a mutual family friend, one of the cousins Rachel didn't know I still spoke to. She maxed out 2 cards last year just fixing up the roof, he told me over coffee. And she took out a personal loan after the plumbing burst. She's been trying to flip the house to wipe the debt. So this wasn't about moving on. It was about digging herself out. Now that I'd stopped the sale, that noose was tightening. The next week, I noticed the Hendricks couple withdrew their offer. The open house sign came down. The online listing disappeared. And then, quietly, Rachel showed up at my apartment. It was a rainy Friday afternoon. She was soaked through, her eyeliner smudged, her expression tight with something halfway between humiliation and desperation. Can we talk? She asked. I let her in, mostly because I wanted to see it. The crumble, the unraveling. She sat on the edge of my couch like it stung. She didn't touch the tea I set down, just wrung her hands. I didn't think it would go this far, she finally said. You blindsided me. I laughed. I didn't mean to. It just came out. You blindsided me when you tried to erase me from the house Mom gave us. Her jaw tensed. I wasn't trying to erase you. I was trying to survive. No, you were trying to win. She stood up, pacing. Look, I messed up, I know that. But I'm drowning in debt, Ava. I can't keep the house, and I can't afford to buy you out. I sipped my tea, calm now. So what are you proposing? She swallowed. Let me sell it. Just this once. We split it. 60-40. I keep a little more to cover what I spent. I shook my head slowly. 50-50. Or you can keep waiting for the market to crash. Her lips parted in disbelief. You'd let me go bankrupt? You were willing to cut me out of my own childhood home, so yes, I would. The mask cracked. Her face twisted, not into tears, but rage, pure, hot resentment. You think this makes you better than me? No. Just smarter this time. She stormed out without another word. But the second the door shut behind her, I felt it. The shaking. Not of fear, of power. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the one left behind. I was the one holding the pen. It's strange how the house stopped feeling like a memory and started feeling like a weapon. For weeks, Rachel had tried to use it to erase me. Now, every nail in the floorboard, every hinge on the door, they answered to me too. But that didn't mean I wanted to sell it. That was her dream, her escape route. Mine was different. I started driving back out there on quiet mornings, before work, before the world was awake. I'd sit in the driveway, sipping coffee from a thermos, watching the way the light caught the kitchen window. The same way it used to when I did my homework at the table while Mom made dinner. Once, I even let myself in. The spare key was still taped behind the meter box, right where Dad used to hide it. Inside, the house was hollow. The furniture was gone, replaced by Rachel's overstaged leftovers. But the bones were still there. The old marks on the wall from when we measured our heights every birthday. The squeaky tile in the laundry room. The soft scratch on the hallway where I once crashed my bike indoors and lied about it. I touched them all. This wasn't a listing. It was mine. That weekend I met with a local contractor. Not to flip the house, to restore it. Not looking to... Got it, I told him. Just clean, simple, strong. I want it livable, not glossy. He raised a brow. You thinking of renting? I shook my head. No. I think I want to come home. But Rachel wasn't done. She showed up again, this time at my work. She came into the gallery like a customer, wearing a sleek black trench and a too bright smile. Can we talk? She asked, as if we were just siblings grabbing lunch. I stepped outside with her, mostly to avoid a scene. She didn't waste time. So you're not selling? No. You're moving in. Eventually. She blinked like I'd slapped her. You're doing this to hurt me. I'm doing this because it's my house too. You tried to cut me out and you failed. Let it go. I can't, she hissed. I need that money, Ava. I counted on it. Then you should have counted me in. Her face twisted. You always play the victim. No, I said quietly. That was you. I just stopped accepting the role you wrote for me. She switched tactics. Tears sprang up. Her voice got softer. Please. I don't have anywhere to go. If I can't sell that house, I'm done. I paused, and I saw it. Not just the desperation, but the ugliness behind it. Rachel didn't want reconciliation. She wanted to cash out and walk away. She didn't want us. She wanted out. And she didn't care who got erased along the way. I'll make you one offer, I said. Her eyes lit up. You move out in 30 days. I'll forgive your half of the last 2 years of property tax. I'll take full ownership, and you walk away with no debt to me." Her face fell. "That's nothing. That's more than you'd have if I sued you for fraudulent listing." She didn't answer. She just walked off, stiff and slow, heels clacking against the sidewalk like a ticking clock. But something in me clicked that day. Something final. I wasn't going to wait for Rachel to do the right thing. I wasn't going to ask permission. I was taking the house. Rachel didn't speak to me again for 3 weeks. Her silence was loud. No response to the buyout. No counters. No screaming voicemails or teary apologies. Just nothing. Until one afternoon I received a notification. Rachel Louise Martin has filed for voluntary release of co-ownership. She was surrendering her share. Quietly, legally, finally. No apology. No message. Just a signature. The court made it official 2 weeks later. I stood outside the county clerk's office holding the stamped deed, my name now the only one listed. The sun felt different that day, like it was warming something deeper. It was over. Moved back into the Mayflower house the following month. Not all at once. Just a few boxes, a few slow mornings spent relearning the creaks in the floor and the way the back door stuck slightly when it rained. I painted my bedroom a soft sea glass, green. Mom always said it made my eyes look thoughtful. I brought back the old photo frames Rachel had packed into storage. I put the bird cage back in the corner. No birds, just a string of lights and dried lavender. It wasn't just a house anymore. It was mine. Entirely. One day, while rearranging a shelf in the hallway closet, I found something strange. A thin envelope, yellowed at the edges, tucked deep behind a loose panel of drywall. No address, no postage. Just my name. Ava Marie Martin, in Mom's handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it. "Sweetheart, if you found this, then you're home. And I hope by now, you know why I left you both the house. Rachel will fight for control. But you, Ava, you are the soul of this place. You remember the small things. You love the broken parts, even when no one else noticed. This home needs someone like you. Someone who listens to the creaks in the floor. Who cries in the kitchen when it rains. Don't let the world harden you, but never let them take from you what is rightfully yours. Love you always, Mom." I sat down on this floor and wept, not just for the letter, not just for the pain, but because someone, somewhere, had always known I'd come back. Epilogue. Rachel's new house. I heard through an aunt that Rachel moved to a small rental 3 towns over. The debt had finally caught up to her. She was working 2 jobs. One of them was a real estate office assistant. Fitting. They said she still blamed me. That was fine, because I no longer needed her validation. I didn't need to explain myself, and I wasn't carrying her choices anymore. One night that spring, I stood on the porch in a sweatshirt and old socks, holding a mug of tea. The cherry tree out front was blooming. For the first time in years, I felt like I was exactly where I belonged. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the forgotten daughter. I was the homeowner.